Saturday as your Sabbath, I cannot argue against it. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that I cannot see any argument that I would use or could use to oppose that observance. I just don't. The Sabbath is one day in seven, not the seventh day. Now, when God made creation, when God created the world, he created it in 6 days. And the seventh day, he rested. When God rested on the seventh day of creation, there was no calendar. There was no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. There was none of these days. It was just the seventh day after he created for 6 days. There were 6 lunar days, and after God finished creating man on the 6th day, from that day on, he rested from all of his creative works. There was no calendar. There were just lunar days measured by 24-hour cycles that start with morning and end with evening. You can make up all the arguments you want to. You cannot find Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday in creation account. And not only that, when God created the earth, the law of God was yet to be conceived by Moses. This was a pre-Mosaic era where there was no law. And where there is no law, there is no sin that can be held against men. Moses was a righteous man. Abraham was a righteous man. Job was a righteous man. All these men were considered righteous by God. Enoch, Seth, Lot, Noah. They had no seventh day. There was no rule, a law that they had to worship on a given day. Yet, if you go to the book of Hebrews, you see these men listed in that hall of fame of Christian believers of faith. But this is all pre-Mosaic, pre-law. So there are no tenable arguments that can support an idea that there was some kind of a religious mandate after creation. But when do we get the seventh day that the Jews honor to this very day, that Judaism honors to this very day? Where does that come from? I'm going to tell you where it comes from. It's in Exodus. Exodus chapter 16. Exodus chapter 16. If you remember, God had given the Israelites quail to eat, and he had given them manna from heaven. And from there, I'm going to break into the story and read, starting at verse 22 in Exodus 16. Make a note of this passage. In Exodus 16, in verse 22, it says, "And so it was on the 6th day that the Israelites gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one, and all of the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. Then he said to them, 'This is what the Lord has said. Tomorrow is a Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you will bake today, and boil what you will boil. And lay up for yourselves all that remains to be kept into morning.' So they laid it up till morning, as Moses commanded, and it did not stink, nor were there any worms in it. Then Moses said, 'Eat today, for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. In other words,